Getting started here. No? Facebook came up without me? You kidding? Okay, go live. Okay, so I think Periscope is up and running too. We'll do the chat. We'll generate. We'll open. And go back to the dashboard. There we are. Okie dokie. Okay, so according to this, the YouTube live connection is up and running. And let's see what else. If you're watching a recording, do fast forward, let's see, 3 minutes, and we'll get started then. As always, we get started early just to make sure that our technology is up and running. It looks like today technology is on our side. Am I good on both? Okay. Okay, I have something sort of weird here. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, I see. No. I got mixed. Let's be honest, I got mixed up. I was looking at something like, I think I have a duplicate, but I don't. Okay, so if you're wondering who I'm talking to Andy. Of course, Andy's always with me. And we are just about getting ready to jump into this. Interesting. I still don't see Facebook on my chat. Oh, well, that's the best I can do. So, okay. So just a reminder, I have a Zoom after this. So no, again, I'm not talking to myself. I'm talking to Andy on the phone. If you're wondering, if anybody's wondering who I am talking to. So did y'all have a good weekend? I know I did. It was fun and it was a lot of work. And I know all of you are like, what is she doing live today? Of all days, right? After 4 days of doing virtually over crafting and everything else that was going on over the weekend. Yes, of course, I'm live today. I was live last time after virtually over crafting. Why does this surprise anyone, right? This should not surprise you. This should be assumed because we are a nut, and this is how we keep moving. This is how things continue to roll because it is COVID. And I just feel like if I slow down or stop something, y'all might not come back. What happens then? But let's be honest. So knowing what happened last virtually over crafting and how really truly overwhelmed I was feeling and tired I was after that, we did schedule a little time off for ourselves. So this is going to be the last one for, I don't know, 10 days or something. And Andy and I are going to head off and go see our son and have a little bit of time off. So that's what's coming up this next couple weeks. So yeah, I am going to take some time off, just not today. I'm going to, I got to get student surveys out today. So expect, if you participated in virtually over crafting over the weekend, expect some emails from me. Still going, man, still going. I'll be coming down tomorrow on that drive out, but it's still going. We got to just sort of, do it until it is done. That's the goal. But anyway, okay. So Andy, you ready? It's 1 o'clock. It is Monday, December 7th. Yes, we are officially well into December. And this is week 38. Wow. Yep, week 38. Sort of exciting, sort of overwhelming, sort of cool, I guess. So that said, as I'm sure you guys are all listening in, Virtual Crafting was last weekend. We all had a great time. Talked to a lot of instructors in the last couple days, and they enjoyed themselves. Talked to a lot of students, and I feel like y'all enjoyed yourself, which is great too. And I'm glad that it worked out, and all the glitches and everything along the way sort of worked themselves out. The thing is, we're still new, and next time it's going to be that much better. But here's what I'm going to ask of everyone. If you haven't joined us already, do join the Virtually Ever Crafting community Facebook page and tell us how it went. Tell us what you want for next time, because you know what, we can only get better with input. And when I send out that survey, please do take the survey and let us know. And if there's some instructors that you would like to see, send them a note. Let them know we're out here and ask them to join us. Because what's interesting is I did take your surveys to heart last time, and I sent out individual emails to those instructors whose names came up that you were all requesting, and they didn't exactly respond. So, maybe hearing from students might be better. Maybe they thought I was just a spammer. Maybe they thought I was just, I don't know, a commercial or an ad or something. I don't know. But do send them a note and have them contact me either on Facebook or directly through the website and whatnot. But there's, we're out here and we're trying to grow, and we're hoping to create an even bigger community. One of the other things I wanted to talk about really quick was the vendor night. I know it was really chaotic, but there was almost 100 people who came, and that was just really exciting for us. It doesn't help that Zoom changed the format like days before. That's really hard. But what's really great about the vendor night was that the vendors made some money, and that's really cool. And we did it to support our community. We did it to support not only the vendors, but also the students and the customers who've been looking for an outlet for many, many reasons, whether it's just to support the vendors, or to find some nice materials for themselves. Whatever it is, it was just so much fun to be able to pull everybody together. We're trying to figure out how to do it better next time. If you have some input, again, just let us know. Okay, so what is going on? So this is officially like the first full week of December. So today I'm doing a live. On Wednesday, we're going to have Asia Rain, who is one of our instructors. She's going to do texturing on metal. Next week, we have Jeff Hunter. Some of you guys met him during the vendor night. He's going to do a demo on how to do some lap work and having some Koroi opals, boulder opals. Apparently that's something very specific and very special. I know many of you are looking forward to that. He'll also have some specimens up for sale during that, so do join him and don't let him feel like he's all alone out there. And then we're taking next Wednesday off, but then we'll be back again for a Zoom. So I will personally be back in 2 weeks, but Q Talk is going to be up and running. However, only on the Facebook page. So don't look for us on Twitch or YouTube in the next 2 weeks. Anyway, so that said, let's get started. What are we doing? So today's Monday. We have changed the format a couple of weeks ago to hot and cold instead of minimal metal. Hot and cold is based on my first book, which I totally forgot to pull over. Sorry. Let's see. So it's based on the first book, of hot and cold connections. And the whole premise is to have sister projects, right? So one hot, one cold, and they're both very similar. So each week we will alternate, as you can see on the screen there. The project looks very similar, but one week we'll do the cold connection and the next week we'll do the hot connections. Here I'll do it in 2 weeks because, again, we're out of town. So let's get started and jump in, and let's talk about what all you need to make this a project today. So it's a cold project, so you need all cold tools. We're doing some riveting, so you'll need a center punch. You'll need a riveting hammer and or a chasing hammer, okay? Both is always nice to have. I'll explain why when we get to it. A leather mallet, some sort of a round nose plier. I'm going to use a multi-looping plier today. A pair of shears to cut your metal with. That's always important. A bench block, which I have a lot of junk on, but I'm gonna need that later, so that's important. And today we'll be doing a little bit of sawing, so you'll need a jeweler's saw and a bench block. Of course, when you're riveting, you'll need something to make holes with, and we're going to use a 2-hole drawdown punch because it has 2 sizes on there and it's going to be good for what we're doing. A divider is always helpful. Sharpie today, and a file to file down those edges. A little bit of sandpaper is always nice to have around. I always keep sandpaper on my workbench, and a steel dapping block with a dap to go with, and of course some cut loop because we're going to be sawing. All right, so what are we doing? So today we're going to be making this project, okay? So it's just really a simple project where we're going to rivet the flower down. But what's key to this project? So you see this line here? This, I inlaid some wire. Cold. I didn't solder it. So that's what makes it a little bit more interesting. Whereas this one, I did soldering. Okay? So let's jump in. By the way, all the links to the materials and to the tools are available on the Facebook Q Talk live page, okay, on this video. But if you don't get there, it's theurbanbeater.com. You can find all of our tools available there. And another quick note too, sorry, we're going out of town, so shipping's going to be delayed about 10 days, just FYI there. Okay, so first things first, we're going to cut our metal. I'm starting here with a little bit of sheet metal. And this is just texturized sheet metal that honestly, it's actually scrap, but you can purchase this, believe it or not, from Parawire. They have taken over for Metalliferous, who was a very big vendor or a big supplier of texture plate, but they have taken over for them, so you can buy it from parawire.com. Okay, so first and foremost, you'll decide how wide you want to have your pendant. So I'm going to go with about 3/4 of an inch. Right? Yep. Let me see. About 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to just do it from the back side. I'm just going to run it down one side like so. And I'm going to trim that down with my shears. Just like this. Okay, and then I'm going to cut the length of this at approximately 1.5 inches. Of course, you can make it bigger if you want. That's up to you. It's your pendant. Let's mark that. So, because you're going to need almost 1/2 inch to roll over the tube, okay? You know what? I'm also going to pull out my divider here just to score a straighter line. So when you're using a divider, you're going to take one side of that and drag it on the straight edge, and that will help create a really nice straight line so that you're symmetrical, just like so. Okay, so now I'm just going to nip off those corners just a little bit to create a radius, because it's easier to cut those corners than to sit here and file those corners, okay? So I'm just going to nip those corners off. And because it's all gnarled up, you can see the metal is gnarled up, we'll take out a leather mallet and flatten that out. Ooh, I'm on something. Just like that. And by the way, if you're making comments over there on my personal Facebook page, I finally figured out how to put this on my personal Facebook page at the same time that we're doing it on the Q Talk page. I can't see your comments, so thanks for hanging out and saying hi and all that good stuff. And do us a favor and share the link, because it's important, and like the video. Okay, so I'm just going to take out my file, and I'm just going to file down these edges to make it nice and soft, because I don't want any sharp edges. Okay, and you see with the corner, because I took off a little bit of that corner, making this radius becomes really easy. And yet another thing too is by taking off that corner, it's easier to make the radiuses even. Okay, so there's that. we'll go ahead and pull out our multi-looping plier, and we're going to bend this down. I'm going to use the third largest size, and I'm working from both sides to make sure it continues to stay even, just like that. It's brass, so it's a little bit harder. Now, of course, you can use whatever metal you want, and if you don't have any texture metal, texturize the metal. But then heck, if you don't even like texturized metal, then don't texturize it. Just leave it. It is what it is, right? Okay. So Andy wanted to also let everyone know that all orders that were placed during the vendor night with the Urban Beater has been shipped. Oh, if they were paid. You know, a little critical note there. So there you go. You see it's nice and snug so that it doesn't fall out. So yes, bail making pliers would work. Actually, bail making pliers would probably make a little bit easier work of this, okay? So now I'm going to consider my design. I'm just going to draw, let's see, a little line like that for my stem. And I'll pierce a hole up here. And I'm going to make some decorative dots. So maybe there, and there. Okay. So we'll pull out our 2-hole draw down punch, and we're going to start with the large one. Remember, black for big, okay? So we're going to make a large hole for the flower at the top because we're going to rivet it. You need this to be large. Okay. So this is just simply 24 gauge texture sheet is what this is. There you go. And then I'm going to make little holes, decorative holes, everywhere I want to decorate, right? Like so. Oops, wrong one. Okay, so we're going to go like so. And so you're going to just twist this down until you feel it release. And once it releases, you can go ahead and go backwards on this, like that. And I'm going to make a few of these. Just, again, it's just for fun, and it's nice. Go. And it's so easy. So you can see I have a couple of dots there, and I'm going to make another dot down here because I can. Just like so. And you can keep going this way all you want. So the next thing we'll do is, or at some point we'll add silver to it, and we're going to inlay little silver dots, okay? So while we have the cutter out, so I have a little copper, what I call a copper mini. It's just a flower. These flowers can be found on our website also. The hole in the middle is not big enough for my rivet, so I'm going to go ahead and put it into my 2-hole punch, and I'm going to punch a large hole in it, like so. Okay. So make sure you have a large hole. So everywhere where you want to do a tube rivet, you need to make a large hole. So then I also have sterling silver. I have sterling silver 3mm tubes. That's 3mm long, okay? And the tubes are 2mm in diameter. Okay, so there's that. Set that aside. All right, so next up, I'm going to now saw the line for the stem. So you'll need your jeweler saw, and you'll need some cut loop. We'll prep that real quick before I switch over cameras. So, all right, give me a second here to set that up. Yes, so the question was, do we have these rivets online? The answer is yes. Okay, so go with this one. There we go. So we're using 3mm tubes is what we're using because we're going to go through several layers, right? The 2mm are too small. All right, so I'm just setting up my bench pin. We'll come a little bit closer here. And what we'll do is, again, I made a hole at the top where my flower is going to be, and I'm going to saw a line for my stem, okay? So we'll open this up. We'll insert this. My phone just dropped out of my holster. Sorry. Hold on. Oh. Sorry about that. My phone just fell out of my holster. Okay. And of course I lost my piece too while I was at it. All right, so now we're going to open up the saw blade and we'll insert it with your pattern facing up. So we'll put it into that hole and then we'll tighten this, turn it over, and then now while we're pulling down on this back end, we'll tighten the saw blade. So there. It's nice and tight. And again, we're using the hole the pierced hole that we're going to put the flower into, right? That we're going to rivet the flower into. And we're just going to make a line. Just nice saw. No big deal. It's just a little curve. You can make it a little bit more interesting if you want to, but I would practice with straight or curved lines first. And I'm just going to go all the way down like so, but I'm not going to end into a hole, okay? I want to just be just shy of that hole, and I'm going to back this out. Hello, Alabama, we've missed you. Okay, so you can see there, you see, I stopped short of that second hole. I don't want to go all the way down there because I want this to stay really tight, okay? And I see that there's a little bit of debris, so I'm going to try to clean that out, okay? And we'll pull out a little bit of steel wool and take off the, take off the Sharpie. By the way, if you're watching on Twitch or YouTube or anywhere else, do give us a little like and let us know where you're watching from. We always appreciate that. Okay, so I just took off the Sharpie just a little bit. All right, next up, let's move this out and change up just a little bit here. Okay. All right, so this is an interesting process that we're going to do here. It's a little bit different from what you're used to, I know, but trust me, it was worth stopping by today. I know most of you guys are already tired from the weekend, but I'm gonna make it worth stopping by. Okay, so here I have some scrap metal. I know that it's 22 gauge, so I want it to be a little bit thicker because it is about displacement, okay? So I'm going to make several dots out of this scrap metal. So I'm just going to put it into my 2-hole punch and I'm going to start making dots, okay? Hello, Connorsville, PA. Where is that? I don't even know where that is. Do you know where that is, honey? 40 miles south of Pittsburgh. Okay, I have not been there. I get a feeling I've been there or I've driven through there. Okay, so as you make these holes, did you see these little, what I call poopies, drop out? So just make sure that you are retaining those silver ones, especially because we want a little bit of contrast here, right? My silver one hasn't come through yet, but it's a little bit at a time. I'm going to make several of these. And I'm using 22 gauge because I want a little bit more metal to be displaced and to ensure a really nice tight fit. So I've made 3. I'm going to make 4 for good measure because, you know, they have a tendency to go all over the place. Actually, I've only made 2, right? So just like so. All right, one more just because I can, because I know how it's going to go. If you don't, you're going to regret it. So let's just do safer than sorry, okay? And you know what's really sort of fun about this too is you can use these little dots for soldering, for decorative things. Okay, I'm keeping my finger on the bottom so that they don't fall out. Oh, and look. Obviously sharp metal. Okay. Oh, there they are. You see they all fell out? And they're stuck together, so I'm going to gently try to pull them apart. Come on. Let's see. I'm going to pull out my tweezers and see if that might help me. No. Oh, there's another one, and there's another one. I know that this is a double. Ah, come on. Aha, good thing I did an extra because it went flying that way. All right. I'm going to move you over just a little bit. Make my life a little bit easier here. Okay. There we go. I have 3 little dots. There is a front and a back. I like the dome side facing up if you look at your dots carefully. Okay. And I'm going to gently put it over the dot, the pierced hole that I made that correlates with the size that I created. And I'm simply going to hammer it in place. Look at that. Can you see that? It is in there. Hard. Oh, there it is. Okay, and we'll do it again on the next one, like so. I just put it right over the top. And we'll do the third one, like so. I'm not doing a lot of hammering. I'm going to come back after I get everything in place because I know that if I keep hammering, all these little dots are going to jiggle right off of my my bench block, like so. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and cut a little bit of wire for the stem. And you can use 20 or 22 gauge. And actually, I used 22 on the first one. This one, I'm going to give it a try. I want to see what happens with the 22 gauge. I know, living life dangerously here, trying to, doing it live to see what would happen, right? Nothing like a good test on live, live internet. Woohoo, I almost said live TV. I know, some of you guys are watching on your television, but... So I'm matching the curve up to my stem. You see that? Maybe not. Let me see. I might need to switch out here. Hold on. Let's get rid of that. I'm going to go to the other camera. And let's zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so see I have my line that I sawed, and so I'm putting the wire right over it, and next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hammer it into that line. I'm not completely convinced this is going to work with the 22 gauge, but we're going to give it a try and see what happens. I'm feeling like, or the 20 gauge, I'm feeling like the 20 gauge is a little heavy. Yeah, it's not going to work. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to grab the 22 gauge. It was supposed to work with the, with 20 gauge, but I don't know. Thought I'd give it a whirl, see what happens. So we're going to pull out the 22 gauge. There we go. And again, slight curve on there, like so. I'm just going to eyeball it, cut it. Now, saw blades have sizes that correlate to the wire sizes, and I actually just put that chart up on my QFOAM Gray site, just to let you know, in the chart section, just so you have the information out there, right? So there it is. And this should go, I'm going to just make that bend so that it matches up with my saw. And basically what I'm doing is I'm forcing it. You see that? I'm forcing it into, I'm forcing it into that hole. Okay. And I'm going to trim that out to the middle, out of the hole, because I need that hole for riveting. So my site is qfoamgray.com if you're looking for the information. So what you'll find is you might want to go with a larger saw blade than a number 2 if you want more defined lines. Okay. And now I'm really going to hammer these pieces in there. And what is happening is I'm displacing the metal so it expands inside of the holes that I've made, and that's basically how they're going to stay in. It's an inlay process, right? Okay, so now we're going to rivet the flower. So first thing is first, you can just, of course, rivet the flower in flat, but I like it to be a little bit more dimensional, so I'm just going to put it in my dap here, and with a corresponding, I'm going to put it in the well, and with the corresponding dap, I am dapping it to a cup. You see? Let's go a little smaller. I like it a little bit more domed. There we go. Done. Okay, so of course, the tubes that I had set up, I have all rolled away. Oh, there they are. Oops. Okay, so I have a little tiny tube there. I'll take out my center punch, and we'll put it right on top of that, like so. And we'll pull out our riveting hammer. And the reason why I like a riveting hammer instead of a chasing hammer is because a lot of people, it's lighter, right? And although a chasing hammer is not particularly heavy, it will prevent you from going too far. And that's the story, is a lot of people would just whack at this, and next thing you know, you have a pancake. You just need to tap on it just a little tiny bit to splay the top. Can you see that? Look, it's just gently splayed, okay? And then I'm going to flip it over and put the splay end down and put this over like so. Okay, I didn't take enough of that wire off inside, so it is in my way. Let's see. I can't get my cutters in there. Wow. All right, you know what? I'm gonna pull out my round nose. My round file. I'm gonna file that out just a little bit because I don't have enough room for the wire is in the way, and there's not quite enough room for my rivet. There we go. Okay, and I know this rivet's gonna feel really small, but it is going to splay and fill in that hole. Trust me, we've been doing this for years in this size. So notice I just put my flower right over the top. Okay, so the chart on my site is under, hold on, I can't think, more? Sorry, give me a second. Let me look this up for a second. Wait, actually, I'm going to finish this and then I'll look it up and share it with you. I apologize. Okay, so tap, 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 tap. And notice the inside is splaying. And this isn't going to come out anymore because it's opening up. I say that, haha, because it's opening up and spreading out. Okay, now we'll do it some more until it is stationary. If you screw this up, and it looks like I have screwed this up, is it going to stay? I can't say I love it. So let's just talk about it for a second. If you screw it up and need to redo it, you can just undo it by pulling out your flush cutter and cutting that tube off. Okay, just like that. I did not hammer this very well. That was the problem. So we will just do that again, no big deal, and take that tube out of there. So good thing I pulled 2 tubes, huh? Just in case. So there's my other tube. We'll try that one more time. So we'll splay that out nicely, like so. Flip it over. This is where tweezers come in really handy. And again, these little flower parts, you can find it on our website. We'll put this up here, like so. Tap, 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 tap. There we go, until it's nice and in place. All right, there it is. And it happened, you see? So I have a stem, I have some dots that made decorative marks. You can do some more dots if you want to. You can patina this if your heart desires to get it a little bit darker and give you some definition. You know, you can hardly see that. So let's see. How about I throw some water into the microwave and do a little patina. Okay, hold on. And while I'm nuking that, I will look up the website because I can't think of it right now. Start. Okay, let's see. Website. qfarmgray.com. And if you go across the top, you go to more stuff, go to blogs, go to my 2 cents. I know. It's a thing. So under my 2 cents, you'll find, little articles about my opinion on things, some information here and there. Okay, so you go to my 2 cents and then go to charts. Okay, so there we go. And if Andy would do me the favor and copy and paste that into the chat, then you guys can all see that. Okay? Of course he already did. Because we've been doing this for 38 weeks. He knows. Okay, so there's some warm water. I'm grabbing some liver of sulfur. Stinky. Stinky, stinky, stinky. There's some liver of sulfur. Give that a second to work. All right, let's see. Swirl that around. Why does it look like it has little bits of white stuff in it? Because this is old liver of sulfur from over the weekend that I haven't cleaned out yet. And look, I have new plastic tweezers. Woohoo! Because the last one's broke. So we'll put it in here. You see, look, it's already changing for me. Okay. And for those of you who are new here, Andy is my producer, husband, partner in crime, who is talking in my ear and reading all of your comments and letting me know what you're saying. Okay, so there we go. You can just oxidize that till you are happy. Make sure you rinse it. I'm going to rinse this on the side here. What other questions can I answer for you? So I've got a couple of projects coming up for already January. So we're looking forward to a hot and cold with with a ring, yay, and a bracelet. And then I'm thinking, I don't know, this series just didn't do too much for my creative juices. So I'm thinking that sometime in February, I know I'm talking about February 2021, right? But I'm thinking we're gonna move on to enameling. I think that'd be fun, a little more fun. Okay. Okay, so someone just mentioned that their liver or sulfur turns white after uh, 1 day, babe. Yeah, that seems to be typical. So make less and conserve. I guess is the only thing I have to say. But that seems to be how it goes. The only time liver or sulfur for me seems to last longer than a day is if I used the the granules, the liver sulfur granules, but it still has to be fresh liver sulfur. So if you've been following along, the liver sulfur that I have are those granules, right? But I've had it for over 10 years. I know. So back 10 years ago when I would make liver sulfur, it would last for a month if I kept it in a dark place. But now that I'm using it, yeah, if I'm lucky, if this is gonna make it till tomorrow. So it seems to be what it is. And with the gel has never lasted more than a day for me. So regardless of when I bought it. Okay, so here I'm just cleaning it up with some steel wool, and you can see some definition, and you can see my dots. They're sort of fun. But this is a really quick and easy inlay process that you can use. Again, let me go through it really quickly. Okay, so you can see my little dots, and you can see my my wire that I have inlaid in there. So all I did was I used my 2-hole punch to punch the holes, and then I used the corresponding holes to make little tiny discs out of 22 gauge. I went with something a little heavier because I wanted the metal to displace inside of the hole, and that's how I was able to accomplish that. Okay, so the question is, does a liver sulfur need to be put in a dark place after it's been made up? Yeah, for me, in the past, the way that I've been able to preserve it and keep it a little bit longer is to reduce the light exposure. So I put it in a jar, put a lid on it, and put it in a drawer or someplace that's dark. As far as the gel, it shouldn't have to do that, but it's not going to hurt you to do that either. Because if you notice, it does come in a black plastic container, or a container that is fairly light proof, and I'm pretty sure that is why they do that, is they're trying to reduce light exposure. Okay, so hopefully you think that's cute, and it's just a quick and easy way of creating some more design and texture to your pieces, and without a torch. Because I know some of you either can't have torches or are afraid of a torch, whatever it is, whatever your reason is for not having a torch. This is a great way to get into metalwork without having to solder. So we're going to continue with this series at least for another month if you want to keep joining us on these Mondays. And so 2 Mondays from now, we'll go ahead and do this one, and that's going to be the hot version. So you can see it looks incredibly similar, but you can get there in 2 different ways, okay? So again, coming up on Wednesday is going to be Asia Rain. Next Monday is going to be Jeff Hunter, and we will see you in a couple of weeks. It's been so much fun. This has been a wild and crazy journey. I'm so glad that you guys continue to be here with me. Thank you for continuing to show your support by sharing the videos, and your contributions do not go unnoticed. If you'd like to contribute to this and keep this going, please consider buying a download. I forgot, I haven't posted the download for this one yet, but I will very soon here today after my meetings. And you know, buying the downloads or is simply just doing a contribution. So be well for the next couple weeks. We will see you soon. Come back and see Asia on Wednesday. Thank you.